Hello guys. So this video I just made as a continuation to my first Bhagavad Gita video. It's about more insights, more interpretations I got while reading the book and while trying to understand it. So uh, this last week, one of its evenings, I woke up from an after school nap, right? And okay, after the nap, as you guys all know, you don't feel like the best. You're kind of anxious, the sleep is still in you, and then your head is foggy. And I was also frustrated, I was anxious, all that, and my head was very foggy, absolutely messed up. And then I started talking to ChatGPT, right? And then GPT, I also told it I'm frustrated that the fact that I've been reading the Gita for so long and yet I feel all these bad negative emotions. I wish I was at bliss. I wish I was in eternal peace. But yeah, so I was telling GPT that I'm so frustrated, I've still not gotten to it. And then, of course, GPT, it'll beat around the bush before giving you the answer. But then one of its sentence, and then one of the text, one of the messages, one of the prompts I sent, and then its reply, just one of it completely changed. Okay, not completely, let's say it added to my interpretation of the Gita. It made it more stronger, it strengthened it. The interpretation was this: Atman mir and human mir. Now, Atman is what Krishna said is the soul. So, yeah, if you're religious, you believe in a soul, a spirit, or Krishna called it Atman. And if you're not religious, again, you can interpret it in a sense that an Atman is just a quantum of consciousness. Now, even if you're not religious, you acknowledge the fact that everyone has consciousness, and then quantum because it's discrete. Every person has individual Atmans or souls. So, yeah, that fact can be backed by both science or religion, spirituality. The fact that either you have an eternal living Atman soul in you, or for science, it's a quantum of consciousness, a quantum of Brahman, where Brahman is the absolute, the fundamental consciousness. Like the Atman is individual quanta, and Brahman is the absolute, the universal consciousness, and Atmans are individual quanta of it. There's also Hindu theories of this, like a plastic bag of water, if placed in the ocean, is not separate from the ocean. Only the plastic film is separating it from it. So there's interpretations like that in Hinduism, where exactly you're the Atman, and then Brahman is what we believe to be God, the universal consciousness. Again, you being an individual quantum of that consciousness are not separate from it. You're not distinct from it. You are a part of it. And the plastic bag in this case is our body, our human selves. And so that human selves covers that quantum of consciousness, Atman, and then it gives you the illusion that you're separate from the ocean, while you are inseparable from the ocean. You are the ocean. Like the Atman and the Brahman are in some interpretations equal. So you are God in some interpretations. I haven't really understood those. Those are very technical interpretations that someone who wants a very Vedic knowledge get into. But me, I'm here to help you guys with actual tips, with actual ways to modify this stuff. Not modify, rather, with actual ways to implement this stuff such that it's relevant for you, it helps you, because there's a lot of parts that may not be relevant to you. So I'm picking out all the stuff that's relevant to you, fitting them, tailoring them so that it's what you need. So ChatGPT said Atman mir versus human mir. So the thing is, it said a single sentence. I was frustrated, right? I told you that evening after the school nap, I was frustrated, and then I was just telling GPT, all my days, blah blah blah. How come I've read the Gita for so long and yet I can't get it? Blah blah blah. And I told it I am frustrated, and GPT said the human mir is frustrated, the Atman mir isn't, because the Atman fundamentally and literally it's untouched, completely unaffected by anything in this material world. Just human mir is affected by anything in the material world. The Atman is, say, it's like a rule of the universe, like a physics law, that the Atman simply actually never gets affected by any of this stuff. It's just, say, a different dimension. Say the Atman exists in a fourth or fifth dimension. I'm just giving analogies here to make you understand. The Atman is a completely different thing from your human emotions, your human everything. But it is you. It is inside you. But it's not like every human and all the emotions, all the bad things that come with it. It's completely untouched by it. So ChatGPT said the Atman mir isn't frustrated right now. It's the human mir. He said he who observes frustration cannot himself be frustrated. And that makes sense. Say you're observing someone who's frustrated. The fact that you're able to see that they're frustrated means you yourself, you're clear. Your mind is clear, at peace and calm, and you're observing the frustration. So ChatGPT said, for a moment, in a way, leave your human self and embody the Atman mir, and the Atman mir will observe the human mir getting frustrated, but the Atman mir won't himself be frustrated. He who observes the frustration, the Atman, cannot himself be frustrated. So he said, for a moment, to calm down, just breathing in and out won't work. I was anxious. Yeah, it was almost like a panic attack. So it said, anything else won't work. For a moment, leave your human self, go deeper within yourself, and embody your Atman self just for a moment. And in that moment, because the Atman isn't affected by anything, you also won't. You'll just watch your human self. You'll actually laugh at him. You'll observe his frustration. And at that moment, when you're the Atman, you won't feel the frustration. That's what Krishna said also in a lot of the Bhagavad Gita. Peek within yourself for a moment. Get away from your phones and electronic devices. Spend some alone time. Peek within yourself what you are fundamentally. Atman. And then even that Atman, okay, this has two different ways. Even analyze your human self, your hobbies, your wants, what you want to do in life, all that. But again, that's human self. But you should do that too. And then the more important part, acknowledge and understand the Atman and its science, the perpetual, eternal quantum of consciousness that you are. You are never the human body. The energy, the consciousness that the Atman radiates is what you feel. So Krishna said, peek within yourself. All the answers are there. Like, realize what you are. Fundamentally, it's an Atman. It was never human mir. I was never human mir. I was always Atman mir, and I always will be. So again, there's this analogy of I watched in a YouTube video where there's a guy who is frustrated. He's pissed at all his past. He's unwilling to accept his past. His past had, let's say, some trauma. I don't know. His past, and then he has fear, he has anxiety, he has all these negative emotions. And then he goes to a monk and then asks him, why won't these emotions that are absolutely killing me right now, like, I don't want them, of course, why won't these emotions leave me? Why wouldn't they let go? And then the monk said, it was never them holding you and them having to let go of you. It's you holding on to them, and you who will have to let go. Anything, say, in a moment of extreme passion or anger or frustration or stress or any bad thing going within you, for a moment, think that emotion isn't controlling you. It's you. You are feeling that emotion, and you are the master at that moment. You are the one holding on. Yeah, let's analogize an analogy that all those bad things, anger, frustration, envy, past trauma, any regrets of your past life, anything, future worry, all of that. Think of it as an analogy, as a tree or a pole. Now, that pole or tree isn't hugging you. You are hugging it. You are tightly grasping onto it and never letting go. So, in any such moment where you're feeling such an extreme, passionate emotion, feel yourself being, do what I did on that day when I was talking to ChatGPT. Feel yourself being the Atman and distance yourself from your human self. Just for a moment, distance yourself from the human self, and then, because the thing is, what I'm telling you right now is, I told you to let go of that tree and pole, which is all your negative, all those emotions that I said, yeah. But the thing is, letting go just like that isn't easy. And it's easier said than done. Me saying just let go doesn't work. People can't just let go of their past trauma or past regrets or future worry or anxiety, fear, all of that. It's easier said than done. Me just saying let go doesn't mean you can easily let go. So now I'm giving you the method to do it. The method to do it is, as I said, for a moment, distance yourself from your human self to that quantum of consciousness that exists within you, the Atman. Now, in that moment, you'll be like, okay, that analogy I gave you, it's you hugging on to the tree or the pole, never it you. So in that analogy, there's also an addition. A person is holding on to that tree and complaining, oh, why won't the tree let go? And the villagers or people around are just looking at him and laughing. Because, like, bro, it's you holding on to all of that, not it you. And the person who's holding on to the tree can't see that himself. He thinks, because it's an illusion, he thinks that all these worries, all these bad things are following him. He thinks that. And then in that moment, he thinks the tree is holding on to him. But of course, externally, if you see it, the other people who are laughing at him are justified, because it's not the tree holding on to you, it's you holding on to it. So keep that analogy in mind. Think of yourself when any of these bad emotions you're feeling, you're a person holding on to a tree and complaining that it's holding on to you, while other people outside externally are laughing at you. Now, of course, we're beyond other people laughing at us. We don't ever care about that. But just for an analogy. So in that analogy, now what I told you, distance yourself from the human self and visit your Atman self for a moment. Now, in that moment, what will happen is you'll go from being that person holding on to that tree to being one of the people who are watching you. And now, the moment you move from being the one with the tree to one who is far away watching, that illusion that the tree is holding on to you breaks. And now you're able to see it was always you holding on to the tree. You know, in physics, we have something called frame of references. There's something you just can't see from a particular frame of reference that you must switch from the frame of reference of when you're next to the tree and, well, you are holding it or it's holding you. We don't know right now. Let's assume we don't know. It's an unknown. So from that frame of reference, you can't judge. That's why you distance yourself from your human self for a moment, visit your Atman self. From that frame of reference, it'll be very clear it's you holding on to the tree, not it you. Like, for an example, let me give you an example where we're sitting in a frame of reference. Say you're in deep space, completely black, with no reference stars or with nothing relative, and then you're in a car, and then there's a wall floating in front of you, and then, now this is completely physics, I don't know, I'm just sidetracking, but it's a fun thing. So say you observe the wall coming at you. Now in that moment, because there's nothing outside to see, and then because you're going at constant speed, so the car isn't putting a resultant force on you, there's zero way of saying whether it's you, the car, moving towards the wall, or the wall moving towards you. In the same way, when you're next to that tree, when you're next to all those emotions, you can't tell whether it's you holding on to them or it holding on to you. And you can't never try artificially to let go of them, because it'll work, but temporarily. They'll come back and chase you. So that's why we now shift frame of references. Now we become an external observer to the side who can clearly see it's the car moving towards the wall, not the wall moving towards the car. So when you distance yourself from your human self, you'll see for a moment that it's you holding on to those emotions. The tree is a stagnant, stationary body. It can never hold on to you. You couldn't see that when you were next to the tree, but now you can. So use this trick whenever you're in those extreme moments of anxiety, fear, passion, extreme passion. Sorry, passion isn't bad, but extreme passion. Anything, when you're regretting, when you're regretting something in the past, or any regrets of, say, something you did or didn't do in the past, any past bad things, any such thing, right? Any moment when you're feeling those things at their peak, distance yourself from the human self and embody your Atman self for a moment, and it'll all become so clear. Yeah, the Atman is in an eternal bliss. That one is in peace. That peace I was asking ChatGPT from, like I was asking ChatGPT, it couldn't have ever been achieved if I stayed being human mere. It could only have been achieved if I embodied the Atman. And the Atman is in eternal bliss. Now don't get me wrong, you can't be the Atman the whole time, because the Atman isn't from this material world. The fact, if you want to keep living, like if we are living in this material world, we have to work our way through material things. That's a fact. There's no going to the forest and just meditating on your Atman. That, there's nothing like that. But it's about acknowledging that, firstly acknowledging that there is an Atman, and then moving, embodying it for brief moments so that it helps you calm down. So when you become the Atman, you'll for real laugh at the human self, viewing from far apart that guy holding onto the tree while thinking that the tree is holding onto him. You laugh at him and it's trivial thoughts. You laugh at the human self's trivial, fleeting thoughts and worries. Like you will be the one observing the guy holding onto the tree, and yeah, and the other thing is, as you observe now, he will let go. You had to move out, and then the fact that you moved out of your human self and became the Atman, now even the human self will let go. And then after that calm moment, when you use this trick, after that calm moment, you can go back to your human self, and it will have let go by then. And so now that it's let go, you can go on with your life, but then keep knowing that there's an Atman you can fall back to. It's a comfort, really. Like you can think of your Atman being with you. It's actually in you the whole time. You can think of it as being in you the whole time. It's like a friend that you think of in a bad situation, and it is literally you. Like it's something you can think of going back to, hugging back. If something bad happens, remember that he's with you. And as I said, if that kind of seems weird, you're making yourself consciousness your friend, acknowledge the fact that the Atman is a part of Brahman. So that Atman also has Krishna in it, also has God in it. If you believe in a God, then Krishna himself said that in every single Atman, a part of him stays. So that quantum of consciousness you have within you, it also has an essence of Krishna or God in it. So yeah, just knowing you have someone to fall back to gives you peace, even when you're embodying the human self most of the times, because we will be embodying the human self most of the times. Anytime we're doing our human activities, we're in the human self. But then, yeah, something to fall back to Krishna in your consciousness in a single bowl is a good feeling to. It's like a good home to know that at the end of the day you'll go back there. So it relieves you in a way. So yeah, let go. And then I said letting go artificially is impossible, but use this trick. And it's not really a trick, it's a realization that is actually true. For a moment, forget your human worries, become the Atman, and you'll see your human worries as trivial, fleeting thoughts, nothing else. Yeah, never lose the connection to the Atman, even though after the moment, after the high pressure moment, you go back to your human self after the human self has let go of that pole. Even though that, and so, but still never forget. Yeah, I already said they never forget the Atman. In fact, why would you forget it? It's something positive to look back to know that you can always consult. It's like a friend who says, talk to me anytime you have a problem. But this is just you, yourself, and Krishna, a ball in the fourth dimension or fifth dimension, something that consists of your consciousness and Krishna. Never forget that. Keep thinking of it. Like, not keep thinking of it, but like acknowledge it being with you all the time. Because Atman is a part. Mathematically, it's like a subset, is a part of the absolute stroke universal consciousness, which is Krishna, stroke God, stroke Brahman in Hindu philosophy. Those are just terminologies. So, yeah, Atman, human, male. I thank ChatGPT for giving me this insight, because in that moment I started smiling, because he who observes the frustration cannot himself be frustrated. I became the Atman male for a moment. I'm like, look at this human male. Get a load of this guy trying to be frustrated. I don't know what for trivial things. And then yeah, like so you get it, right? Yeah. So that's that part.